They say that accurate predictions about volcanic eruptions are nearly impossible. And while it is true that predicting when a volcano will erupt has been historically challenging, we've come a long way. Today, we can make fairly accurate predictions about which volcanoes will erupt next. In this video, we're going to look at 5 volcanoes that are currently on the brink of eruption. We'll examine what makes these volcanoes particularly dangerous and the measures being taken by scientists to monitor them. If you want to find out which volcanoes might erupt soon, then join us. Yellowstone National Park in the United States is home to more than just beautiful wildlife and breathtaking scenery. It also contains the largest active supervolcano on the planet. The Yellowstone supervolcano is a massive caldera that is roughly 43 by 28 miles across. It contains a large magma chamber which holds around 500 cubic miles of magma. But don't worry, because despite its size, the chances of the supervolcano erupting in any given year are extremely low. In fact, the park's geysers and hot springs are much more likely to erupt than the supervolcano itself. Still, when the supervolcano does erupt, it will be catastrophic. To put into perspective just how much destruction this eruption would cause, if it were to happen today, ash would blanket an area of more than 61,000 square miles, forcing widespread evacuations and causing billions of dollars worth of damage. Currently, there are no signs that the Yellowstone supervolcano is about to erupt. However, scientists do monitor it closely just in case. In fact, the United States Geological Survey monitors the volcano's seismic activity 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Mount Vesuvius is an infamous volcano located near Naples in Italy. It is best known for its eruption in 79 AD, which resulted in the destruction of the Roman city of Pompeii. Although the eruption of Mount Vesuvius was one of the deadliest in history, it is not the largest. In fact, it is dwarfed by the 1815 eruption of nearby Mount Unzen, which killed more than 60,000 people. Mount Vesuvius is still considered to be an active volcano, and scientists are concerned that another major eruption could occur at any time. This is because the volcano is highly viscous, meaning that its lava is thick and sticky. This makes it difficult for gases to escape from the magma chamber, which can lead to explosive eruptions. Unlike most volcanoes, Mount Vesuvius is not monitored by a dedicated agency. Instead, scientists from the National Institute of Geophysics and Volcanology in Rome keep tabs on it. They do this by recording the number of earthquakes in the area, measuring gas emissions from the volcano, and surveying the land for any signs of movement. So far, there have been no signs that the volcano is about to erupt. However, scientists are continuing to monitor it closely. Mount Ibu is an active volcano located on the Indonesian island of Weh. It is one of the most dangerous volcanoes in the world due to its high volcanic explosivity index, or VEI. The VEI is a scale used to measure the explosiveness of volcanic eruptions. Mount Ibu has a VEI of 4, which means that it is capable of producing very large and violent eruptions. These eruptions can throw ash and lava for miles, which can bury entire villages in a matter of minutes. The last major eruption of Mount Ibu occurred in 2021. It was captured by a fisherman who was sailing through the Banda Sea. The eruption sent a massive plume of smoke and ash into the sky and caused widespread damage on the island below. Since then, scientists have been closely monitoring the volcano for any signs of unrest. Currently, there are no signs that Mount Ibu is about to erupt again. However, scientists are concerned that an even larger eruption may be imminent. Mount Merapi, also known as the Mountain of Fire, is an active volcano located in Indonesia. It is one of the most dangerous volcanoes in the world due to its high frequency of eruptions. On average, Mount Merapi erupts every 2 years. The volcano is closely monitored by the Indonesian Center for Volcanology and Geological Hazard Mitigation. In 2021, Mount Merapi erupted and sent a pyroclastic flow down its slopes. The flow traveled at a speed of up to 100 kilometers per hour and destroyed everything in its path. Fortunately, the eruption caught scientists by surprise, and they were able to issue a warning before the pyroclastic flow reached populated areas. As a result, no lives were lost during the eruption. However, many homes and buildings were destroyed. Mount Merapi is expected to erupt again in the coming years. When it does, the nearby population will need to be prepared for the possibility of loss of life and property. Mount Ngorongoro is an active stratovolcano located in Tanzania, Africa. It is one of the most beautiful and deadly volcanoes in the world. The volcano is home to a large crater lake, which is the world's deepest lake, located within a volcanic crater. Mount Ngorongoro is closely monitored by the Tanzanian government. In 2021, Mount Ngorongoro began to show signs of unrest. Scientists recorded an increase in the frequency and intensity of earthquakes in the area. They also observed changes in the shape of the volcano's crater lake. While these changes were not necessarily indicative of an impending eruption, they were concerning enough to warrant increased monitoring. Thankfully, so far, there have been no major eruptions or earthquakes in the region in 2022. However, the volcano is still being monitored closely for any signs of activity. Mount St. Helens is an active volcano located in Washington state. It is the most active of the Cascade volcanoes and the most dangerous volcano in the United States. In 1980, Mount St. Helens erupted and became the deadliest eruption in U.S. history. The eruption caught scientists off guard, and they were unable to issue a warning before the eruption occurred. The eruption caused widespread damage and claimed the lives of 57 people. Since the 1980 eruption, Mount St. Helens has been closely monitored by the United States Geological Survey, or USGS. The USGS has developed an early warning system for the volcano, which includes a network of seismometers, gas monitors, and other instruments. The system is designed to detect any signs of unrest and issue warnings to the public and first responders. In 2021, Mount St. Helens began to show signs of unrest. Scientists detected an increase in earthquake activity and gas emissions from the volcano. However, these events were not unusual and did not indicate that an eruption was imminent. Nevertheless, the USGS continued to monitor the volcano closely. As of right now, there are no signs that Mount St. Helens is about to erupt again. However, scientists are always prepared for the possibility of an eruption, and they are constantly working to improve the accuracy of their predictions. So which volcanoes are set to erupt in 2025? Well, unfortunately, it is impossible to say for sure. However, based on recent activity, some of the most likely candidates include Mount Ibu, Mount Merapi, and Mount St. Helens. All three of these volcanoes have shown signs of unrest in recent months, and they are all closely monitored by scientists. What is certain is that when one of these volcanoes does erupt, it will be a major event. Each of these volcanoes is capable of producing devastating pyroclastic flows and ash clouds. The eruptions could force evacuations and cause widespread damage. However, thanks to advances in monitoring technology, we are now better prepared than ever before. Early warning systems can give people living near volcanoes precious moments to take cover. And in some cases, the eruptions can even be predicted days or even weeks in advance. While we may never be able to accurately predict when a volcano will erupt, we have come a long way. In recent years, we have developed sophisticated monitoring systems that allow us to track changes in volcanic activity and issue timely warnings. Thanks to these advances, we are now better prepared than ever before to deal with the devastating effects of volcanic eruptions. If you enjoyed this video, then check out our other videos on the Yellowstone supervolcano and Mount Vesuvius. With that said, thank you very much for watching and stay safe.